Hello, Kirk. This is your dad. Today is Sunday, June 5th, 1994. We're going to send you some comments on the tail end of this tape that we made for you. We had a wonderful trip in California. The time went too fast, of course, as all vacations do. We arrived on a Saturday, and we rented a car, picked up a car, and drove over to Julie's place. The Woodfields were there, and also his brother David and his wife Julie from Los Angeles area came up. You may remember David. He came for the wedding, Julie and Brian, 10 years ago. He was very quiet and was not married at that time. It was nice to see those kids again. We had a very good visit. We met Julie and Renee and Dan in the afternoon. They arrived about 5 o'clock. During the time that we were waiting for them, we decided to go into San Francisco, and Brian took us in. We drove in and went down to Pier 39 and walked around and saw a few interesting things. The sea lions were very numerous. They occupy a pier. They apparently have set aside the city of San Francisco has set aside a part of the pier where they have taken over, and there must be 200 or 300 of those sea lions that are near the Pier 39. In fact, you could reach down to the water level. You could probably touch them. They're only about 15 or 20 feet away from the visitors there, but they're very interesting to watch, and they make lots of noises and do lots of swimming and playing around. They are a great tourist attraction. Stephen enjoyed seeing them, and I think all the kids did. We then just sort of walked through the stores and observed what's going on there, and then we went back to the car and went back to Berkeley. Of course, Sunday was the graduation. That was at 2 in the afternoon. We all went to the Berkeley ward for sacrament meeting. And then after that, we went home briefly, and then went to the graduation exercises. There were lots and lots of people there. Of course, we didn't know anyone except the family. But we were able to sit just a few feet from Brian. We got to see them and to see him go across the podium and to be the honored when his time arrived. Unlike what I've experienced in the past, the PhD graduates were at the end of the program. Usually, in Utah at least, they were at the first of the program. But Brian and his group were at the end. And the speakers were very brief, but very good, and we are sending you a program in the package that we're sending to you so you can see what went on. Then in the evening we went home and had some very, very good pizza. It was very excellent. Zachary's Pizza in Berkeley. We all had lots of pizza to eat. It was very, very good. Your mother corrected me. We had pizza Saturday night, and we had flank steak, Brian's choice, I guess, for Sunday. We also had cheesecake. We took out a cheesecake from the world's best cheesecake, and they enjoyed that very much. It's a good thing we brought something like that, because it just sort of was a dessert for that special occasion. Everyone enjoyed it. And then Monday morning for breakfast, Brian had gone out and bought some wonderful bagels. They were very, very good, almost as good, or equally as good as the cheap street bagels we get here in Wilmington. And we had bagels for a couple of days for breakfast. I know your mouth is probably watering at this time, but bear with it. You'll be home shortly and you'll get to enjoy all these good foods. But enjoy what you're having, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Brian's parents left Monday afternoon. They returned by plane to Salt Lake. And David and Julie, Brian's brother and sister-in-law, drove back to Los Angeles in their Corvette. They had left their kids with some friends, relatives down in California, Los Angeles. And Renee and Dan left Tuesday morning. We had a good visit with them in the evening, Monday night. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, we did some sightseeing. And Julie had some commitments at the school for her kids on Tuesday and Wednesday, so we took off, the three of us, and drove down to Monterey, California, which is south of San Francisco. There's a new aquarium down there that Stephen wanted to see. And so we drove down there and went through it. It was interesting. They had lots of specimens from the Monterey area. There's a huge canyon in the ocean right near Monterey, and they have retrieved many of the animals and other things that are unique to that area, and stocked the museum or the aquarium with that. It was somewhat of a disappointment, and when you compare it to Baltimore, because Baltimore is even more spectacular. But it was a very nice event. Monterey was interesting to see. That was one of the oldest, or that is one of the oldest settlements in California, perhaps the oldest. And it was at one time the capital of California. Then we drove back using the scenic route, and we went through the capital of artichokes, Castroville. They were out picking some of those, and it was interesting to see those. And then we also drove through Watsonville, which is a strawberry capital, and there were huge patches of strawberries already to be picked. There were lots of workers out there picking them. Stephen even wanted to stop and pick some. They were right on the edge of the road, and you could see the big berries. We stopped and bought some berries and took a case back to Berkeley with us. They were wonderful. The coastline is very interesting through the California area, Northern California area. The water is very, very cold, and the people that were out in the water were sailing, wind sails, and they had wet suits on. And that is a very rough, wet, cold water. Stephen went out to look around, but he soon came back because it was too windy and too cold. In order to swim in the ocean out there, you have to have a wetsuit on. But the cliffs were beautiful, and the scenery was elegant. We, on Thursday, Brian took off the morning, and we decided to go on a picnic up into the mountains near Walnut Creek. And we went up and had a picnic, lunch, and the kids climbed some rocks, some very big rocks. They enjoyed that. And then we came home and did some more sightseeing around Berkeley, and on Friday we sort of got ready, and we left Friday night for Salt Lake, and we were met at the airport by Dwayne, who picked us up, and we stayed at Grandma and Grandpa Stoker's place Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Saturday morning, we went down to the Salt Lake area, toured Temple Square, and we went to the hotel, the ex-Hotel Utah, which is now the Joseph that memorial building. Went through that beautiful building that they restored and saw the movie Legacy, which was wonderful. Reminded me a lot of the story of a patriot at Williamsburg, only it's a century later. And it's something you'll want to see when you go down, when you return to the Y. It's very, very impressive. Then in the afternoon and evening, we went down to Provo and visited with the Carlsons. We had a picnic. We first met at the cemetery in Pleasant Grove and visited the grave. All the people out in Utah visit cemeteries and put flowers on the graves during Memorial Weekend. So we did the same thing, and then after that we went over to a picnic area in Pleasant Grove and had a lunch and visited with all the friends, cousins and so forth. And then we went back to Clearfield and spent the evening there. And then Sunday morning we went to church in Clearfield. And in the afternoon we went with Dwayne up to the mountains in Ogden Canyon. Their family had all come back for the Memorial Day weekend, and they had taken their campers up to Ogden Canyon, the North Fork of the Ogden Canyon, and had parked it since Thursday night, I guess. And they had camping grounds available, and we went up there and had lunch and dinner, and we came back about 8 o'clock that night through Ogden Canyon over in the Huntsville area. It was very interesting to see the mountains, and everything was very, very, very green. In California, things were quite dry. They had not had rain. Of course, things had matured much more so than in Utah, but Utah was very, very green. And then Monday morning, we went to the cemetery in Clearfield and saw the graves of the Stokers, and then we went down to Bountiful and saw the temple, which is going to be dedicated, I understand, this fall. It's a beautiful building. And Chris has been working on the temple in Bountiful doing electrical work, and he mentioned quite a few things about the temple. He's taken a few people around into the various unfinished rooms. I guess those are unofficial visits. And then we went to the airport and left about noon and got back Monday night. We had to stop over in Chicago to change planes, and that was interesting to see Chicago O'Hare Airport. So that was some of our trip, at least from my vantage point. I guess the rest of the family will give you their ideas. Before I end this tape, maybe I should say a few things about this forthcoming surgery. I guess when you get this tape, it might be over with, or it might just be about to occur. It's scheduled for the 17th of June at 1:30 in the afternoon at George Washington University Hospital. For the last few weeks I've been making preparations. I've had to give 2 pints of blood. This is the norm nowadays, since there's risk with blood transfusions. Whenever it's possible, they like to use the patient's own blood. And so since the doctor indicated that he would probably need 1 pint of blood, they always ask for twice as much. So I have given the 2 pints of blood. And tomorrow morning I go in to see GHA for some more lab work, blood tests again, and urinalysis, and chest x-rays, and so forth. And then on Tuesday I see my new doctor, new internist. The internist I've had, Dr. Harvey, for the last 25 to 30 years, has just retired. He retired the end of May. So he's turned me over to one of his colleagues, and I'm going to meet him. And he's going to, I guess, check me out from his point of view. On Tuesday, and then on Friday, the 10th of June, I have a visit with the George Washington Hospital, where we'll meet the anesthesiologist and get an interview with him and I guess other people and so forth. And then I guess the next thing is to report for surgery on the 17th. Have to be at the hospital by 11:30, and they said not to be late, because if you're late, they put you at the end of the schedule for the day, so I guess things are on target. When I was out in Clearfield, I had Dad and Duane giving me a blessing, which was very nice and very helpful. And of course the Bishop, McBride, and the home teacher, Brother Packer, gave me a blessing some weeks ago, I guess 6 weeks ago, when I first learned about the situation. And then they're going to do another blessing before I go in the hospital this week, maybe Thursday night. I certainly appreciated your letter, what you said about your comments about your knowledge of the situation. It was a great relief. I'm sure that everything will be okay. Just a bit nervous. There are some risks involved with this surgery. I guess the doctors always give you the worst scenario to cover themselves. Of course, there's the possibility of incontinence, which I understand is a low risk, but that's something will have to be done. There will be a catheter in place for 3 weeks, where this will take care of the urination problem, but then after that, the muscles have to be trained to redo what you learn when you're a child, and this will take some time, and that's why I will be away at least 6 weeks from the office. I guess I figure it takes 3 weeks to be able to develop those muscles and get back to some degree of normalcy. And then there is the risk, of course, of impotence. Again, that's something that could occur, which may not occur, but you never know. Something we'll have to deal with. And then, of course, there's hemorrhaging, which nowadays seems not to be a problem with a good surgeon. It seems that the GHA people are very pleased with their surgeon that they have, who's their chief urologist, and the reports I've heard from him and about him are very positive, so hopefully things will be in good hands. Do keep us in your prayers and your thoughts during the next few weeks, and hopefully all will be well and things will be back to normal when you get home on the 4th of August. We are eagerly awaiting your arrival and hope to see you then in person. The office situation is interesting right now, Kirk. On the 20th of June, the President Secretary General his term of office will end, and we'll have a new Secretary General who was recently elected in March. He is from Colombia, Gaviria. He's presently the President of Colombia. His office ends in Colombia in August, and he will report in September. So we have a transition of 3 or 4 months. The Assistant Secretary General will be in charge from June 20th until the new Secretary reports sometime in September. So things are in a transition at the present time. Maybe this is a good time to be away, or maybe it's not a good time. But anyway, I have approved sick leave through the 1st of August, beginning the 17th of June. So hopefully that will be sufficient time to get things done. And I'll be back to the office by the time the new Secretary General reports for duty.
Hi, Kirk. It's now about 7 p.m. on Sunday, June 5th. We have finished our dinner. It was Fast Sunday today, and so we didn't eat till we got home from church. Our meeting doesn't end until 5, so it makes for a late meal. I was released today as a counselor in the Relief Society presidency. I've been in almost 2 years. I think I was sustained on the Sunday of your farewell. So it's nice not to have to think about that and the responsibilities there. Both the Relief Society presidency and the primary presidency were changed today. The release was not at my request, but it worked out well so that the next little while I can be available for taking care of Marley and for looking after your dad and doing the things that need to be done. I think I heard your dad tell you all about our trip out to California. It was an excellent experience. We enjoyed our time there and had a great time. It was nice to see both Renee and Julie and their families. They're all doing well and look well. I imagine that Renee and Dan have written to you and told you all about his experiences in Mexico. Sounds like he had a very educational experience there with examining eyes of people that didn't have much opportunity for eye care. We went up to the pool this past week a couple of times. Stephen seems to be looking forward to the swim team this year. It's Kevin's 25th year as coach of the swim team. They're planning on a big party at the end of the swim team season and hoping for a lot of the old swimmers to get back. That's going to be in the last week in July, so you'll have to go up and see Kevin in August. You won't be able to in July. Well, I guess I will sign off and give somebody else a chance to talk. I think Charlene may have something to say. So we love you. See you later. Bye.
Hi, Kirk. This is Charlene. You may hear Marley in the background at some point. You probably heard her in the background already where other people were talking. Well, let's see. Oh, wait, Grandma's bringing Marley over. Marley's kind of sick today.
You say, Daddy?
Cute. I don't know. She's pulling my hair. She wants to sit by Mom's.
Oh, you say hello, Uncle Kirk.
Yeah.
What else can you say, Marley?
Can you say Daddy? Daddy?
What about?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. Bye-bye, Marley. Grandma is taking Marley away. Marley doesn't want to be taken away. Anyway, let's see. You probably got the letter where, with your new schedule and everything, you can probably understand from that I signed you up for Biology 134, which you need to take right away this semester. It's, I guess, what used to be Biology 200. I mean, it's just like more advanced than Biology 100 for majors. It's sort of probably, well, Biology 200 was like a weeder out class, and it was kind of hard. I don't think it would be that hard for you, because you had like more biology than most people in high school. So I'm sure it'll be fine. But anyway, so you're signed up for Biology 134 or 130, whatever it is, and Zoology, Zoology 139, that's that pre-med class, and Chemistry 105. Here, you can listen to the clock chime for a minute. Anyway, you're signed up for Chemistry 105 and the biology thing instead of Physics 121, because there's a, well, that's what you should do according to your little zoology honors class thing, which I'd be curious to see how much, if any, different it is from regular zoology major. Anyway, let's see. I keep losing my train of thought. Oh, yes. There's a thing called lack of progress warning and lack of progress probation you can get on if you aren't taking enough credits and passing them, enough additional credits. So like if you failed a bunch of classes, you could be on lack of progress warning, as well as regular academic warning. But if you also retake too many classes in a row, you'll get on academic warning that way too, because you're supposed to be progressing, so getting like new credits. Anyway, so you would just get on the first step if you took both physics and chemistry 1 and 5. But since you really can take the physics later, I mean, you might as well. Besides, you're going to need a little break from the science, so that's why I think you should still go ahead and take Spanish and take the history of civilization thing, because I think you like the history of civilization thing. And Spanish will be a good break too. Because, I mean, remember what happened last fall. You don't want to be too into science. All of a sudden, you'll just go nuts, like you did last fall. Anyway, so I guess you're going to stay at Alice's. That'll be pretty good. You can probably go to that corner grocery store, you know, the one in the corner across from the law school on the same side of the street as like Heritage Halls, where all the people from Heritage Halls go. Of course, it's sort of expensive. It's not that bad. I mean, it is Provo, for heaven's sakes, but they do have sort of the corner on the walking market, so, you know. Anyway, I'm sure once Grandma gets back, you can get her to take you places or get some of your cousins. Boy, that sounds like Mother, doesn't it? Let's see. Oh, I've been taking my Parview class. Monday through Friday, I get on the metro. Garrett drops me off on his way to work. I go down to Virginia Square and get up and walk a whole block to George Mason Law School and take a bar prep class thing. And so I've been doing that. Some of the afternoons, either to study or sometimes they have an afternoon class, but usually it's just like 9 till about 12:30 or so. And then I come home and study. Come home on the metro, and Mom and Marley pick me up, and Marley gets all excited to see her mommy coming, you know, from the metro. And I took Marley to the pool yesterday for the first time. She really didn't like it that much. She thought it was too cold. I took her in the big pool with me for about 5 minutes, but she didn't like all the splashing from the big kids. And she played a little bit in the baby pool, but it took a little while to get used to it. I mean, she likes the tub, and she likes her little baby pool. It's this little pink plastic tub thing, you know, that little kiddie pool for the backyard. Anyway, but she didn't really like the big pool because there were other kids, and because it was sort of big, you know, very exposed. Where'd you put Marley? You take her downstairs? Oh. Mom just took Marley to her daddy, but her daddy's doing ward financial stuff, so Mom should go down there again. Not financial, ward membership clerk, I guess that's what he is. And I'm still teaching the Star A's. Today we talked about Noah, and then we made these little rainbow necklaces, just like a little paper rainbow, and then stuck on some yarn and hung around their neck. And this one little 4-year-old boy, I was all excited until I called it a necklace. And then he's like, ew, I don't want a necklace. Girls wear necklaces. And then we had this little period where they're all jumping up off their chairs. I tried to put an end to that real quick. Anyway, they're 4 years old. Sometimes they're real good, sometimes they're not. Most Sundays they have a period of real good, followed by not real good, followed by real good. You know, 4 years old. Anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you when you get back. So, I better go get Marley. Bye.
Kirk, Pedro Torina told me that he left the packages at the address. I guess that was the mission address. So I hope that you got them. We haven't heard as of this date that you have received the packages. Today also at church we noticed that one of the full-time missionaries had his arm in a cast. It seems that he was riding his bicycle too fast and he went head over heels over the handlebars. and he really really did a lot of damage to his wrist and arm. He was in the hospital for 24 hours. And they had to operate on his arm and do a lot of repair work and put some metal pieces in his arm. So be careful when you ride your bicycles. You don't go too fast and have an accident. The tape is coming to the end, so perhaps I should sign off. We wish you well in your last 2 months of labor in Chile. Enjoy those 2 months. They will go faster than you think. And I'm sure you'll have lots of success. We keep you in our prayers daily and know that you're doing well. We're very proud of you and we love you very much. I'll try and get you another tape off in 2 or 3 weeks after the operation. Give you a rundown of what's happened after that event. And I'm grateful for your faith and prayers, and I'm sure that all will go well and things will work out to the best. So for now, so long, Kirk. We love you. Bye.